Have you ever been ignored so badly that it felt like you stopped existing? You text first. No reply. You show effort. No appreciation. You speak. Nobody listens. And slowly, you begin questioning yourself. Am I not good enough? Why do people treat me like I don't matter? But what if I told you something uncomfortable? What if the people ignoring you right now are actually handing you the biggest opportunity of your life? Because the only way to beat people who ignore you is not revenge, it's not begging, it's not chasing, and it's definitely not proving yourself to them. No, it's something much darker. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why the people who overlooked you may accidentally become the reason you become unstoppable. Let me ask you a question. What hurts more, failure or being ignored? Most people would say failure, but that's not true. Failure hurts, but being ignored, that destroys something deeper. Your ego, your confidence, your sense of importance, because rejection feels personal. You start wondering, what's wrong with me? And that question destroys millions of lives, because instead of improving themselves, people become obsessed with attention. Think about it. Someone ignores them. Suddenly they start posting fake happiness online, trying to look successful, trying to make someone jealous, trying to be noticed. And the sad part, most people spend years trying to impress people who stopped thinking about them a long time ago. Read that again in your mind. Years wasted trying to impress strangers, trying to force respect, trying to chase people who already walked away. But here's the scary truth. The harder you chase attention, the weaker you become. Why? Because attention addiction destroys self-respect, and people can feel desperation, especially in America today. Look around. Everyone wants validation, likes, followers, approval. People are starving for attention, and starving people make emotional decisions. But powerful people, they move differently, and that's where everything changes. There are two types of people after rejection. The first person gets emotional, complains, cries, blames life, blames society, blames their ex, blames bad luck, and eventually, nothing changes. 5 years later, same habits, same excuses, same pain. Now let's talk about the second person. This person gets hurt too, because pain is human. But instead of collapsing, they go silent. And listen carefully. Silence is dangerous, not weak silence, focused silence. The kind of silence where somebody disappears and starts rebuilding their life. They stop talking, stop explaining, stop chasing. Instead, they work quietly. They hit the gym, wake up earlier, read more, study harder, learn skills, save money, build discipline, and something strange happens. The same people who ignored them start noticing. But here's the twist. By then, they don't care anymore. And this is where most people get confused, because they think success is revenge. No, success is freedom. Freedom from needing approval. Freedom from needing closure. Freedom from needing someone to finally notice your value. That's power. Real power. Let me give you a real example. Imagine two guys after a breakup. Guy number one, he spends 6 months checking Instagram stories, posting gym selfies, hoping she notices, drunk texting at 2 a.m., talking about what could have been. His whole life becomes emotional damage. Now, guy number two, he disappears. Not because he's angry, because he understands something. Pain is energy, and energy can either destroy you or transform you. So he uses it. He starts training, gets healthier, builds confidence, learns business, improves financially, focuses on himself. 1 year later, different person, different mindset, different life. Now guess what happens? The same girl who ignored him, she notices. Maybe she reaches out. Maybe she regrets it. But suddenly, he realizes something shocking. He doesn't need validation anymore because growth changed him. And this doesn't only happen in relationships. This happens everywhere. Jobs, friendships, family, business. People respect results, not potential. Potential means nothing. Everybody has potential. Results, that's different. You know what hurts? Watching people underestimate you, especially when you know what you're capable of. Maybe people laughed at your dream. Maybe they doubted your business idea. Maybe your family thinks you'll fail. Maybe friends secretly want you to stay average. And listen, that hurts. But pain can become your greatest weapon if you use it correctly. Look at successful people. Nobody believed in them at first. Nobody believed in Elon Musk. Elon Musk was mocked constantly. Electric cars? People laughed. Reusable rockets? People thought he was insane, but instead of arguing online, he built something. And eventually, the same people laughing had no choice but to respect him. That's lesson number 1. Stop explaining, start building. Because talking about goals feels productive, but building goals changes lives. Here's something most people never realize. When people ignore you, your ego starts screaming. Show them, prove them wrong, make them regret it. And honestly, that sounds motivating, but it's dangerous. Because if your whole life becomes about revenge, you lose yourself. You start living for people who don't care. And that's a prison. Imagine becoming successful, but still emotionally controlled by somebody from your past. Still needing validation. Still hoping they notice. That's not winning. That's emotional slavery. Winning looks different. Winning means becoming so focused on your future that your past loses power over you. And most people never reach that level. Why? Because healing is hard, growth is painful, discipline is uncomfortable. But comfort destroys dreams. And maybe that's why average people stay average. Here's a truth nobody likes hearing. Nobody owes you attention. Nobody owes you belief. Nobody owes you support. Harsh? Yes, but freeing. Because once you stop expecting the world to believe in you, you stop getting disappointed and start becoming dangerous. Quietly dangerous. The kind of person who stops announcing plans, stops explaining dreams, stops talking, and starts executing. Because winners understand something. Losers don't. Nobody cares in the beginning. Nobody. The creator with 0 views? Ignored. The entrepreneur with no money? Ignored. The athlete nobody notices? Ignored. The student grinding while others party? Ignored. At first, discipline looks boring. Later, it looks legendary. Remember this. People laugh before they clap. Always. But here's the question that changes everything. What if nobody ever notices? Would you still work? Would you still improve? Would you still grow? If the answer is no, then you're not building for yourself. You're performing for an audience, and audiences disappear. Purpose doesn't. There's a reason champions train in silence. Because transformation happens in darkness. Nobody sees the lonely mornings. Nobody sees the failures. Nobody sees anxiety. Nobody sees sacrifice. They only see results. And results make people curious. Suddenly everyone asks, how did you do it? But they don't see the nights you almost quit. The pain, the loneliness, the discipline. And maybe That's where you are right now. Maybe life feels unfair. Maybe people ignore your effort. Maybe nobody believes in your dream. Good. Use that. Because pressure creates strength. Comfort creates weakness. Pain creates growth. And ignored people? Ignored people often become unstoppable because they stop expecting help. They learn self-respect, self-discipline, self-control. And once somebody masters themselves, the world changes. So what's the only way to beat people who ignore you? Listen carefully, because this is the answer. Become impossible to ignore, not louder, not more emotional, not more desperate, better, smarter, stronger, healthier, more disciplined, more valuable. Because confidence doesn't come from compliments. Confidence comes from evidence. Evidence that you kept promises to yourself. Evidence that you stayed disciplined. Evidence that you grew. That's real confidence. And nobody can fake that. You either built yourself or you didn't. Simple. So stop chasing attention. Stop explaining your worth. Stop trying to force people to see your value. The wrong people will never understand you anyway. Instead, focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Quietly, relentlessly, patiently. And one day, life changes. The people who ignored you, they notice. The doubters, silent. The haters, confused. And the funniest part, by then, you no longer care. Because you finally understand something powerful. You were never trying to beat them. You were trying to become better than your old self. And that changes everything. So if you're being ignored right now, don't break, build, don't chase, grow. Don't beg for attention. Earn respect, quietly, because one day, your results will speak so loudly, you won't have to say a single word. If this video hit different, make sure to like this video, subscribe to NexZen Mode, and turn on notifications for more dark motivational content. And remember this, the best revenge is not proving people wrong. It's becoming someone they never expected you to become.